Hi, myself Salpini Varshit Chaudhary, and I'm from CS department. Now I'm going to continue with the data centers, which we can choose in the DigitalOcean in the creation of droplet in the DigitalOcean. So there are many data centers present in New York and California, and then Bangalore, Toronto, Amsterdam, Singapore, London, and even Germany. So there are many data centers all over the world for DigitalOcean, and so the one, two, and three, these are the number of data centers present in that current area, and so the data centers which are not clearly visible or which are blurred are the data centers which are used for private purposes, and the one which are like clearly visible are the ones which we can use for our daily purposes. So while choosing the data centers for our project, we can choose local data centers. That is, suppose if you are in India, you can choose Bangalore. If you're using for any local project, that is the project which will be deployed in your only one in your country, you can just go with the local data center which is present. Otherwise, if you want fast computation or advanced technology, you can go with the servers from US, because those will be having very high technical structure, and it will be very advanced. The data centers will be very advanced. If the project is if you're going to deploy the project, uh, and it will be useful for it will be used all over the world, then you can go with the New York servers. And coming to VPC, is one more thing, that is the virtual private cloud, which you can choose. So currently we are seeing about the data centers. That is, here we can choose the San Francisco one according to your convenience, and even the even the Bangalore ones. So if you're going to host a project which is local, then you can go with the Bangalore one. If you are from India, or you can choose the data center which are nearby to your country. So now, coming to the additional options, there are three options, that are IPv6, user data, and monitoring. So generally, if you're normally all the devices currently are using IPv4, but if you want to use IPv6 address, you can choose it. And there is a thing called user data. This is the data which allows you to run different things before the deployment of the droplet. So user data will be used. User data generally look into the processor which are needed to be run before the deployment of the droplets. And then, so for your compatibility, you can choose IPv6 or IPv4. And user data generally, they like if you are willing to run anything before the deployment of droplet, so you can just choose your user data, and whatever the program you need to run, you can just paste there. So coming to monitoring, monitoring, which is this is an option which will give you to analyze what are the stats present here, like what are the stats of the CPU. That is, it will check the CPU stats and tell you how much memory is it using, and how much disk space it has currently while running the process. Now, coming to authentication, there are there are two types of authentication here. Those are SSH keys and password. Though actually, the SSH key is a more secure method than password. So generally password is very password is very easily debuggable, but SSH keys use different algorithms like SHA-256 and ECDSA. So they are very hard to crack. So if you want to go with a password, you can just choose password and you're going to type the password. If you're going to use SSH keys, there's a different process which I'm going to explain in a few minutes. So if you're going to password, you can use that. And if you are going to SSH, then there's a way by using a terminal, we can go with that. So for SSH, yeah. So now, if you press the new SSH key, we'll get this window. In this window, what we can do is, now we'll go to the terminal. In the terminal, what we are going to do is that we are going to create an SSH directory. So if you have Windows, you can install the Git Bash, so that you can work with that. And then So now we are going to create an SSH folder. Here we'll be creating the SSH directory, and then uh, if you want, like, we can work in the SSH directory itself. And then here, what we are going to do is we are going to create a public key and private key for ourselves. So if you press SSH and bar keygen, we are going to now give the private key of our website or cloud. So here we are going to give our private key. So here I'm going to give it as a do key. Okay, and here I'm running it again. So it will also ask about passphrase, which we can give or not give, and then it will be created. Private key and public key will be created. If we give the cat space do key, we will get the private key, and if we can give the cat space dokey.pub, it will get the public key. We have to copy that public key and paste in the DigitalOcean website, so that it will be linked to a computer. So this is the public key which will be stored in the DigitalOcean server, and the private key will be with us in the system. So after copying the key, we are going to assign a name to the SSH key, and then we are going to add the SSH key to our cloud, to the droplet, and we can choose the key as DigitalOcean tutorials, which we have given it the name. And then we can also choose the number of droplets we are going to create. In this, I'm going to create only one droplet. So it will be chosen as one droplet, and then the host name will be provided generally. But if you want to choose another host name, you can create it as you wish. So I'm going to give it as DigitalOcean tutorials. And if there are any tags we need to add, that is so if there are any resources that you're going to use for your project, you can add those tags here in this tags bar. These are the tags generally which we use, which are like helpful for the projects which we are doing. And if you have many projects, you're going to select the project which for which this droplet is going to be attached or used. So there are two projects in this, that is Code Am, and the one is Mehul Mohan. So here I'm going to assign this project to Mehul Mohan, assign this droplet to Mehul Mohan. If you want to create a new project and add the droplet to that new project, you can create a new project and add it. And there is enable backup. So in this though there are two types of backups. That is, so if you want to backup every part of the droplet, you can put the enable backup button on, but it's not necessary to backup the entire droplet. That is, so it tells about the code you want. So generally, people will post the code to and things like GitHub and all. So it will be very safe there. It's not necessary to back up the code, but if you have a database, it's recommended to backup it. So now we can review all the things which we have done. That is the plan, and that is the OS, the plan which we used, and the data set which we choose, the authentication, and the project, and how many droplets we are going to create, and whether we are backing up or not, and creating the droplet. So now we have created a droplet, and we have got the IPv4 address. So this is the address which we are going to use. And then we are assigned with CPU and 25 GB disk space, and that is the pricing plan which we have taken. So now the droplet is clearly created. So we have not created any virtual private cloud, so it's showing it as none. And if you want to enable the IPv6, you can enable it now, but there will be additional cost for that. So now currently, if I'm trying to open the website, it won't open because it will take some time to get. So it will take some time for the droplet to be created. So this is the IP address which you'll be assigned. So this is the particular IP address for you. So now we are going to go to the terminal, and we are going to run an private server so that we can see whether our IP address is working or not. We go and list the things which are there in our in our repository. Those are Doki, that is our private key and public key. If you're going, so here in this process, we are removing a public key because we have private key. We'll access through that. So here, what we are going to use, we are using secure shell connection, and we are giving the private key address, and then so we are going to choose a root name, that is host name. Generally, it will be root. So we'll assign that, and then if we have to put at the rate, and then we need to type the IP address of the cloud. So after clicking enter, we will get this option that these are the algorithms which are used for encrypting the private keys and public keys. If you press yes, it will be connecting to the host. So this is the version which we have chosen Ubuntu, and all the things which we have chosen will be displayed here, and the IP address and the memory usage and swap usage of the system. So So if you type free bar h, we are going to get the memory stats of the system. So there's 925 megabytes of RAM currently present. So some part of the RAM will be used by the OS, and there is a 695 MB RAM which is present currently, which is free, and we can use that. So if we press DH slash minus F, we are going to see the disk space, available disk space, that is 25 GB, which we chose in the plan. And now we are going to install Nginx server, which is used to host a web page using HTML. So we are going to install Nginx. It's installing. Yeah, we can update it. So we can press here yes. So Nginx is actually a high performance web server which are used to host a web pages. So if you press service nginx.date status, it will show the status of the nginx. It's showing active and running. So if we copy our IP address and see this, we can see the nginx web page. So it's successfully running. We can share this IP address, and can see in the other mobile and other devices. So we can see our web page is running currently.